Welcome to Sports Guy Talking. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am joined by guest Shawn Davisson today to make a mock draft for the 2022 NBA Draft. This mock draft will only include the lottery selections that will be conducted in the 2022 NBA Draft. I will take the odd number selections. Shawn will take the even number selections. Before I say anything else, though, I want to officially start the 2022 NBA Mock Draft. Lottery picks only, as I will start this off. So here it is. With the Orlando Magic having the first pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, they're going to go ahead and select Jabari Smith Jr., power forward from Auburn. Why? Because this guy, he can switch onto any defender. He can score the basketball. He's just flat out the best overall player in this draft. I don't even think it's relatively close between Jabari Smith and the other prospects. Jabari Smith one day is going to be leading the Orlando Magic as a number one option, or at least he's going to be playing a key role in them for a possible championship type run if he lives up to the potential that I think he is. Jabari Smith is an incredible player. The Orlando Magic should 100% take him with the first overall pick.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. Ever since our first video on this draft, we said Jabari Smith should go number one, and we love his ceiling, we love his floor, we love everything about him. So, yeah, like the pick. Number two, the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm gonna have them taking Chet Holmgren. This is a guy who can play multiple positions, guard many positions. Elite defender, needs to put on some weight, but this is one of those few guys that could grab it off the rim, a rebound, and go to the other side and pull up for three, do a dunk, like cross someone up and make a pass. Like, he can do anything you ask him to. With the rebuilding Thunder team in need of a big man, Chet Holmgren, this is the way I'd go.
And I 100% agree with that. Chet Holmgren, Mr. Unicorn, he's a special player in the making if he lives up to the potential that I think he can live up to. All right, let's get to the number 3 overall pick. The Houston Rockets are on the clock. They're going to go ahead and select Paolo Banchero, power forward from Duke. Although I'm not really too high on Paolo Banchero, and I do think that he will somewhat disappoint and end up becoming just a really good role player instead of an all-star player. But I think the Rockets are going to go take him because they traded away Christian Wood so they can get an extra first-round pick. That leaves a hole at the power forward position. That means they're going to go ahead and pick Paolo Banchero. They need a big man, and they already got pretty good guards. They got that Jalen Green guy. He can play. So Paolo Banchero with Jalen Green, that's going to be a good fit together, you would think, from the Rockets' perspective. So that's why he's going to be my pick.
Yeah, man. Like Paolo Banchero, he's my personal number one player, newest number one player on my big board. I like him a lot. I think this is a really good match for him and the Rockets, so I like the pick. Number 4, the Sacramento Kings. I think this is a big trade spot. I don't know if it ends up happening, but it's a big trade spot. But I have them selecting Jaden Ivey from Purdue. This is a guy who is explosive, has potential, can be really great. We talked about it. We talked about it a few videos ago and how much we like 3 guys, Shaedon Sharpe, Keegan Murray, and Jaden Ivey. We were probably the lowest on Jaden Ivey, but also Jaden Ivey's probably, teams like him a lot. I used to like him a lot. I still do like him a decent amount. I think he can be really good. Needs to get better defensively. Needs to get a better jump shot, but I think he could play a lead guard role for the Kings alongside De'Aaron Fox.
Well, I'll say this. If the Sacramento Kings select Jaden Ivey, that means they messed up. But I would not put it past the Kings to select a guy like Jaden Ivey. They should select Shaedon Sharpe, but they're not going to do that, I think. Because with the number 5 overall pick, the Detroit Pistons on the clock are going to go ahead and get my guy, Shaedon Sharpe, shooting guard from Kentucky. He's a great fit next to Cade Cunningham. The Detroit Pistons, they need stardom on their team. A backcourt duel of Shaedon Sharpe and Cade Cunningham. Man, that sounds pretty good to me if you're asking me. And they got Marvin Bagley, a guy that you're higher on than I am. But Marvin Bagley, he seems like he's somewhat turning relevant on the Pistons. They might have a nice team that they have over there. They select Shaedon Sharpe, and he could provide some scoring for them.
Yeah, man. I actually really like that pick. I really do. I think that is a great match made right there, especially assuming they keep Jeremy Grant. They don't need a guy like Keegan Murray there. They need a guy like Shaedon Sharpe on that team. I like that pick. Don't disagree with you there. But that leaves the Pacers at number 6 for me to take my guy, Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is a guy that I think fits today's NBA. I think he's going to be great alongside Tyrese Halliburton, as he's growing too. So I'm going to go with Keegan Murray, a guy switchable big, can shoot threes. I mean, his skills are going to translate to the NBA. I don't see bust with this guy. With Keegan Murray, I don't see bust. I see, will he be great? But I don't see bust with him.
Well, I do see bust for him at that spot because 6 seems like an awfully high pick for him to use. And now, look, if you selected somewhere like 10 or 11, okay, I would say that's not bust, but 6, that's a little high for me. All right, anyways, though, with the 7th pick, the Portland Trailblazers on the clock, they're going to go ahead and select Dyson Daniels, shooting guard from the G League. They need a replacement from CJ McCollum. This guy seems like he's going to be the best fit for that. The Portland Trailblazers, they need stardom badly, and they need a guy that can immediately produce because they apparently want to build around Damian Lillard. If they intend to do that, Dyson Daniels has got to be the pick for them.
Yeah, man, I'm really not too familiar with Dyson Daniels coming out of the G League. I still need to watch a little bit more of him, just seen very minimal. But from what I hear from other people, that could be a good pick for them. But for me, I don't see Dyson Daniels being great. But if you can get, a number 2 or 3 option at that spot on a good team, then, I'd consider it a good pick. But you're leaving it open for one of my favorite picks I like to mock here with AJ Griffin going to the Pelicans at 8. And let me tell you why. If you're building around Zion and especially when you have a big who's not also very good at shooting, you have to get shooting out there. Have to. There's no question about it. And AJ Griffin, 45% 3-point shooter on about 150 attempts from the 3-point line this past season. I mean, that's match made in heaven right there. And then you also look at, maybe he has injury issues he did in high school. But if he can stay healthy, AJ Griffin, we didn't talk about him in a video, but man, I'm high on AJ Griffin. Very, very high on AJ Griffin. I like him a lot, especially right here to the Pelicans.
I like AJ Griffin a lot as well. Now, look, if I was the one mocking the 6th pick, the Indiana Pacers, I would have advised them to take AJ Griffin. But the reason why I didn't put him higher than 8, well, I just couldn't really find a place for him. But AJ Griffin, if you put him on that Pelicans team with Brandon Ingram, with Zion Williamson coming back, assuming that he's going to be playing on the court when healthy, and CJ McCollum, that's going to be a nice starting lineup that they're going to be having. AJ Griffin, he has potential to be a star player. If he makes some all-star games, I'm not going to be surprised by that because AJ Griffin, he has shown the capability that he fits in the modern game really well. So, yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you with that. All right, and with the 9th pick, the San Antonio Spurs, they're going to go on the clock, and they're going to select Jeremy Sokan. He's a forward from Baylor. Why? Because the Spurs, they just go ahead and pick the best player available. That Pop can go ahead and coach up. Seems like he's going to be coaching there for at least one more year, and he's a project, but maybe Popovich thinks that he could get something out of him. Remember, Kawhi Leonard was a tweener, and maybe they think they find their next Kawhi Leonard, so I'm going to go ahead and pick him.
Yeah, Jeremy Sohan, saw him a lot at Baylor this past year. I like him. I don't see star potential there, but I see good player potential, some good value at this pick at 9. I feel like we might disagree with what I'm about to say here, but I think if you're picking between the range 8 to 14, you're not as much looking for star potential guys. You're looking for guys that can be number 2 and 3 options who can stay in the NBA for a long time. I'm not looking for the next superstar. I'm looking for guys with superstar potential maybe, but I'm not looking for a buster on those picks. So with that being said, number 10, I have the Wizards, and I'm going to take Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona. I like him, kind of similar to AJ Griffin, good offense, needs to work on defense. But Benedict Mathurin, like AJ Griffin, they both can be good at defense if they want to be, if they put in the effort, because they have those built bodies to do it. Mathurin's going to, he's athletic too. So he's an athletic shooter. Who doesn't want an athletic shooter on their team with defensive potential? So for that case, I'm taking a guy with upside here, but also can be safe, and Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, I would like that pick for the Washington Wizards, and he could also somewhat replace Bradley Beal. If Bradley Beal's to leave the Washington Wizards. Remember, he turned down his player option. Let's see what's going to happen with Bradley Beal. I'll address it next week probably. But yeah, I 100% agree with that pick, which now leads to the New York Knicks with the 11th pick on the clock. They're going to go ahead and select Jalen Duren. He's a center from Memphis. Why? Because the New York Knicks, they need big men, and Tom Thibodeau, you know that he loves some big men in him because in his mind, you can't get enough of that. So they're going to go ahead and select the big man, and they're going to get a guy that they think they have potential with.
Yeah, man, I like that Durham pick. I mean, out of high school, he was the number one guy in his class until he reclassified, stayed a top five guy in his class, though, and elite defensive upside. Maybe has potential to stretch. And he's a beast in the paint. It looks like he's bigger than I thought he was. He might be pretty close to 7 foot, big wingspan. So I like the pick. Like I said, safe pick around this spot. I think what you get there is an anchor on the inside.
That's exactly what Tom Thibodeau wants.
Yeah, man. And next up, we'll go to pick 12, the OKC Thunder. They are picking again. I had them taking Chet Holmgren last time. This time, I'm going to have them taking Tari Eason, the sophomore out of LSU. This is a guy who I liked at LSU, put up a lot of points on a pretty good team. And I don't know. I think he'd be a really good piece for them moving forward. And maybe you move Chet at the 5 and Eason at the 4, or kind of do whatever you want to do there. But just another piece. He was a sophomore, so he has a little more experience, a little more seasoned that you need on this young Thunder team.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that you went with that pick in that direction. I understand why you wanted to do that, but I would figure maybe the Thunder want a wing player or something like that. But I'm going to go ahead and just roll along with what you just said with Tari Eason. I see where you're coming from. All right, with the 13th pick, my Charlotte Hornets, as we're both Hornets fans, they're going to be on the clock, and they're going to select what I hopefully will be Mark Williams, center from Duke. I just don't see anything that's bad out of this pick. This guy has potential to be a really good player. Worst case scenario, he's going to be Robert Williams. He's going to be blocking shots. He's going to be dominating the paint on defense. He's going to be catching alley-oops from LaMelo Ball. He's going to be setting screens. He's going to be posting up. This is a really good pick for the Hornets to have if they want to go ahead and select Mark Williams. I think that's a kind of a low-key steal for him at that spot. Mark Williams, I really like the guy, even though he did go to Duke, but I like the guy. I think he can make plays happen. That would be a dream come true if you're the Hornets. If you select Mark Williams, it's going to be really good for them.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty low on Mark Williams, compared to the public, but this is another spot like AJ Griffin to the Pelicans. Mark Williams to the Hornets, I think, is a great match here with LaMelo Ball. They need a dominant presence in the inside, elite defensive potential like Jalen Duren, ACC Defensive Player of the Year, freakish wingspan, freakish measurements. I mean, this guy, I don't think he has any potential to be a three-point shooter, but he's a freaky guy, man, in the paint. And I think this could be what you look for if you're LaMelo Ball, if you're the Hornets. So I love that pick. I'm going to go 14, and I am going to select Ochai Agbaji for the Cleveland Cavaliers at 14. I think this honestly might be too low for him. Maybe should have taken him at 12 because this is a wing player. And Agbaji, seasoned player, coming out, as an older player. But this is a guy who can shoot, who can play defense, who's athletic, who can play a lead role. I don't see superstar in him at this pick, but I do see where he can contribute very well to this rising Cleveland Cavaliers team. I'm pretty big on Agbaji, and I like this pick.
Yeah, that would be a good pick for this Cavs team. They're on the fringe of being a playoff team. They just need a little bit more of a boost. This guy's going to give them exactly that. He's going to be an older rookie, though, so don't expect stardom from him. And before we wrap this up, I got to ask you about this. Where do you got Johnny Davis in all of this?
Yeah, man. I could see Johnny Davis going from like a 10 to, a 14. I'll just give you my list of guys that I had that could have been picked but weren't. Johnny Davis, Malachi Branham, Ty Washington, and Ousmane Dieng. And I I didn't pick Johnny Davis in any of them because I am lower on Johnny Davis. I think he was a really good college player. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be very good in the NBA. I think he has very big bust potential, and I'm predicting that maybe unless he goes to a perfect spot, I don't think uh, Johnny Davis is one of those college players that are going to end up being good in the NBA.
Yeah, and I actually agree with you about that. But the reason why I had to ask is because I think a lot of people are expecting him to be a lottery pick. And for both of us not to include him in the lottery, that might turn some heads around. But I'm 100% agreeing with you. I don't see star power in Johnny Davis. There is real bust potential. So that's where I am at with him. All right, so that concludes the 2022 NBA mock draft lottery picks only edition. All right, so you got to hear Shawn talk about the evens. I got to talk about the odds. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in a future video. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Dustin Tran and at Sports Guy Talking. Also, make sure to follow Shawn's Instagram account at Shawn.Davisson. Also, go follow me on Twitter at Dustin Tran. Shawn also has a Twitter account. Make sure you follow his Twitter account at Shawn Davisson too. He has some interesting tweets that are going to be worth checking out. I also have interesting tweets as well. We might even be live tweeting on draft night depending on what's going to be happening, stuff like that. So be sure to be tuned out for that since the draft is tonight. So make sure you go ahead and watch that because I'm going to be pretty hyped up for that. Again, go ahead and do those things. Every single thing that I just told you guys to go do. Follow me, follow Shawn, watch the NBA draft, react to the draft, stuff like that. Go ahead, like these videos, comment on them, do whatever you got to do because I had a lot of fun doing the NBA mock draft. I'm sure you were the same way too. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.